Okay.
Our guest is a serial and social entrepreneur with a powerful, purpose driven mission for his Ugandan startup. Get this, to build eco friendly products solving waste, pollution, poverty, and unemployment while mitigating climate change and creating jobs for marginalized women and youth. We're going green today on the Startup Life Live Show, everybody. Stay tuned and get ready to glow. But first, let's dance, all right? Hello and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And after raising 4 businesses of my own, I now provide this wonderful platform to share startup stories. And I got to tell you, having raised these 4 businesses, I know what you've been crawling through every single day. I mean, I don't need to use my imagination for that, right? I mean, you are, I know, you're sleeping like a baby every night, right? Waking up every 2 hours crying, or maybe one minute you're popping the champagne and the next minute you're crying into it. But that's the exhilaration of being a founder. And yes, hashtag the struggle is real, but also it is such a wonderful, fulfilling experience no matter what happens. I want to say a quick yoo-hoo to those tuning in live. I'm so happy to see you here today. Hooray. And for my wonderful replay viewers, I'm so grateful for your presence. And boy, podcast listeners, here's a big hug coming to you as well for tuning in, because we're going to be sharing some incredible startup gems today. And you know that as you do better, your business will do better. And so I got to tell you, it's so great to have you here. I want to share, if you are watching from YouTube, please click on the subscribe button and that little bell alert so you'll be alerted to the show. But also, I'd love it if you joined the Startup Life Live meetup group. Oops, wrong slide. That's the right slide. This is where you join the group and you'll receive an alert whenever we go live and whenever I post a new show. You get to find out maybe there's a guest on the show like ours today who you really resonate with and you want to cheer them on, or you want to grab gems from their incredible founder journey. So speaking of amazing guests, let me introduce you to the one and only Ronald Mugaiga. I'm going to say that name correctly because he's an amazing human, and I'm so happy to have him on the show. He's the founder of Ecomak Recyclers, a social enterprise developing eco-friendly, durable, and long-lasting building plastic bricks and blocks from post-consumer plastic waste using a chemical-free and energy-saving extrusion technology. And these plastic bricks are an affordable alternative to conventional bricks, and they solve the challenges of plastic pollution, unemployment, poverty, and indecent housing. And Ecomak's plastic bricks, get this, and blocks are 2 times stronger and larger than the conventional bricks, have 0 breakages once used, require low maintenance, do not rot, are termite resistant, and 30% cheaper than the conventional concrete and clay bricks. And by the way, Ronald holds a BS in Biosystems Engineering and a diploma in Environmental Management. And he was nominated in the top 40 under 40 by New Vision, the leading newspaper in Uganda. Come on, this is a phenomenal founder. I'm so excited to bring into the room the one and only Ronald Mugaiga.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm very good and I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, we're so excited to have you here because you have such a phenomenal journey. You have been passionate about being a social entrepreneur, and we're going to explore why that happened and why that's important to you today, and how are you figuring things out along the way. But you've got some fans here that are so happy to see you, and I'm sorry for any buffering that's happening. We're getting some feedback about that. But we have Terry and we right here. And we have, and maybe some of the folks tuning in, Boaz,
Yes.
so feel free to say their names and say hello to them. But I'm glad we're on LinkedIn. And Thomas, sorry about any buffering that you're experiencing on LinkedIn. But let's get talking about Ronald, because where are you hanging out today?
I'm currently in Chegegwa district, Uganda.
Awesome. Yeah, when we did our tech check, you were in a really gorgeous part of the world. But now you're back. It looks
Yeah.
like you're back in your office, ready to glow. I want to remind folks here tuning in that we love to have you join the conversation. So please feel free to pop in any questions that you may have for Ronald and any cheering that you'd like to share with Ronald. But also, for those of you who have a business, I would love it if you would put your business name, your one-liner, your URL into the comment thread so we can pull it up and celebrate you for having the courage to be launching a business and making things happen. All right, then. So, Ronald, I got to tell you, I know that this is. I'm sorry, Richard O was saying, going green. Yay. That's right, Richard. It's so wonderful. But yeah, Ronald, you have really been exploring a lot of things in life, but why is social entrepreneurship so important to you? And what called you to launch your first business and become an entrepreneur? So, first share why social entrepreneurship is so important for you.
Yeah, doing a business is one thing, and making profits out of business is the other thing. But the overall importance of us being in this world is to us make things that can help other people in any ways. So to me, social entrepreneurship is something that is very important because you don't only look at making profits, but we make businesses to ensure that even the other lives of people are impacted.
And that's tremendous. Ronald, we had a gentleman, a good friend of ours, over for dinner over the holidays, and he looked my
Yeah.
young sons in the eye, like my 24-year-old and my 26-year-old, and he asked them that question: what are you doing to make the world a better place? And I just love that you have that in your passion for what you're doing, is that it's great to make money, folks, but if there's a way to make things better, that, like Ronald just said, that would be wonderful. And it's a good question to pose. Any of you thinking about that as well? Might be a side hustle, might be something that you do for your community. But Ronald, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Did you have role models growing up? Were you hustling products when you were a kid? Or did you fall into it because of your passion to make products that are better for humankind?
Yeah, growing up personally in a refugee settlement, I grew up with a single mom, and at a very young age, I was introduced into business, whereby I would move into very far into the villages to get business, get sugar canes, foodstuffs, charcoal that we would carry from the villages up to the trading center where we stayed, and then we would sell it alongside our mom. So my entrepreneurship mindset really grew up at a very young age when I was literally 8 years old, and then I carried it on when I grew up.
And so, founders, we need to, and I love that story. I love how your mom, did what she needed to do to help you, and you saw all of that unfold and how it informed how you were going to move forward. This is, founders need to be passionate about what they do, because the journey is not that easy. And we're not here to glorify the entrepreneurship journey here and the Startup Life Live
Yeah.
show. We're here to talk about it and all, but also share, just sometimes that struggle is joy. Sometimes that struggle is something that you're just so passionate about. It's worth the hard effort that you're putting out into the world. So I'm curious as to what lights you up about recycling and helping the environment, the economy, and your community.
Yeah, growing up in a settlement still with so many waste littered everywhere in the communities, there came a times when I was at age 10 that it used to rain so much, and spending nights draining water out of our homes
Oh,
was really a very quite absurd moment. And personally, fell sick when I was age 10 and suffering from cholera, which comes specifically due to the bad environment in communities.
yes.
That yeah, that gave me that mindset, and that whenever I would have any chance to do something about it, I wouldn't have to do everything. So gaining a chance to go to university and studying a degree in engineering, I realized I could really solve the challenges that are in my community, to ensure that there are even no more kids that would want to die out of cholera when I'm still living.
Oh my gosh. I want to take that in. No more kids dying of cholera. Do I have that right? While you're still living.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal goal, vision, mission. So, oh, good. Thomas is letting us know LinkedIn is working great today. Thank you for that, Thomas. So, you had, a few attempts after you earned your degree. You worked at different uh, environments, and you started to, have a few startups, a few attempts at having your own business. What did you learn from the process? And
Uh,
I also love to know what mistakes happened that you were just like, oh, I'm so much better and I'll never do that again.
yeah, starting up the business, the biggest mistake I personally made was starting up with no business plan. I personally started a small business when I was still at university,
Okay.
still looking at waste management, but having a no draft business plan, we didn't run for a big period. We only ran for around 3 months, and then everything was out of press. So having learned from that, this kept me, gave me much energy. When I was really now starting up Ecomak, I had to really contact every person that would guide me in having a well-articulated business plan to ensure that I can have my business running.
That's wonderful. It's so important. And getting that mentorship and that help. I found you and connected with you at Startup Boston Week, right? You were pitching at an event, and I was
Yes,
managing the pitch
yes.
event and hosting the pitch event. And so, what have you learned by going to events like pitch events? How have they helped you and how have they served you?
Yeah, one important thing is the network. Like you said, I was very happy to pitch at the Startup Boston event when I was invited. And it's from there that I learned about you. Here I am, and I'm now talking to a global audience. So I'm always open to talking to these events. And one thing I always talk about is network. You get to know more people with so much brains, get mentorship about doing business, and importantly, it builds my leadership skills.
And folks, what Ronald just said is so important, especially for you newbie founders, first time founders, getting opportunities to, even if you're flubbing your way through, stumbling, right, Ronald? You get better each time telling your story, and the preparation for being on a show like this or at a pitch event gets you stronger and hones some really important skills that folks will be looking for in you as a leader. And then it gives you a big confidence boost as well, so that you go on to the next event and you're able to be stronger in how you're delivering your information. So, we have a great question right here from the audience. And it says, thank you. I'm just going to say Benjamin because I'm not going to get through that. Do you know this person, Ronald?
Yes, yes, I know him.
And how do you say that first name? Because it's a beautiful first name.
Him Bisiwe.
Ah, love that. So he's
Yeah.
saying maybe Ronald can talk about how he managed to transition from a full time manufacturing job to manage a startup. Was it easy? What challenges did you meet on the way? And I would also add, how was it transitioning from being an employee to a founder and a business owner?
Yeah, first of all, it is really very hard to transition from being an employee to someone who would want to employ yourself, because you not have now so much capital that would become so much revenues that would be coming in every month. But I really can say it's very, very nice if someone is focused. So me transitioning from being an employee to someone that I would want to do my own work, one thing was focus and passion. It's all about passion. Whenever you have passion for what you're doing, then you always maneuver and you get where you want to be.
I got to tell you, I'm going to have a stitch that on a pillow moment right now, folks, because that is I can see it on the pillow right now. So hang in there while I do this. Tapping into that passion so it can get you where you want to be, Ronald, right?
Yeah.
Mwah.
Yes.
I love that something fierce, and it's so important, folks. And you know that on your journey. So, keep tapping into it even when you're so discouraged. So, you had this idea, and I've got to say, I've seen this. I am a judge for the HALT International Business School. These are folks from around the world getting their MBA at HALT, and they have the HALT Prize, which is a big pitch event for businesses that startups that folks have started while they were at school. And I've seen the attempt. I've seen people talk about it. I've certainly seen it here in Boston in our startup ecosystem. But not everybody says, okay, I want to take plastic waste and turn it into strong building bricks. How did you even pull together that business plan and then find out how do you collect the plastic waste and what the technology you use to turn it into bricks? I mean, to me, it's just like, that sounds so complicated and so difficult, Ronald.
Yeah, currently with the world facing very big challenges of plastic across the world, across the globe, and like you already know, so many countries are now coming up to see how best they can attain the 1.5 degrees in the atmosphere with so much global warming rising. And so we realized there are so many challenges. That's how we came up with plastic recycling. One, plastic is a waste that people throw and litter everywhere. And second, cement. Cement is a very big challenge because it contributes to 5% of the global emissions in the atmosphere.
That's right. It has a
So
huge carbon footprint, cement.
yeah, so we realized we could now say let's use plastic to make construction materials, eliminating the plastic waste in the communities and then reducing on the amount of cement that is used on the construction projects.
Yeah. Okay. But then, so where were you getting the plastic waste? Were you working with the recycling companies that were local? Were you, getting things because we know there's a ton of plastic waste in our oceans and in our waterways. How did you get the plastic waste to even begin?
So we started Ecomak One as a social enterprise to ensure that we do business while employing, creating jobs for marginalized communities.
Yeah.
That's why we said, let's go back to our own community, the refugee settlement, where we grew up, and then we could help the other people who are there and don't have jobs.
Yeah.
So in this, we move around the settlement and other neighboring communities and set up collection centers. So it's at these collection centers that we have a group of over 100 women and youth that collect plastics from different communities and then they bring and dispose it at our collection centers. We incentivize the process because our goal is to see them have a living, and through this we have helped them earn an average of $5.75 a day from $1, which is an average for a person in Uganda.
Yeah. That's huge. I mean, the fact that you've incentivized people to go and get the plastic and bring it to you, and at the same time, you're adding to the economy, right?
Ye-
I think
Yes.
that's tremendous. That's just the beautiful, everybody, when you see recycling, you see the green circle. That's a green circle on so many levels. It's wonderful. Thomas has a great question. He's asking, are you combining multiple types of plastic during the melting process? Ooh, good question.
Yeah, this is a technical question. I really love it. So different plastics have different melting temperatures. However, for us to ensure that we don't need to have so much costs during the manufacture, we look at different plastics that have at least the same average melting points, and then we can combine them. We literally combine the PP with HD because their melting temperatures are very not very big
Hmm.
in difference. And then we also combine the PET bottles with PVC because their melting temperatures are really very small. Yeah, but we consider melting temperatures whenever we are doing our processes.
Oh my gosh, there's so much involved. Seriously, it's like you're having to look at each plastic container, laundry soap to a bottle of Coke, just to, or I should say, a plastic container of Coke, to understand how that's going to be transitioned. And Boaz, you've got a great question here, which is different types of plastics have different properties. And I believe there's both types in the place where you do your work from. How do you sort them?
Yeah, that's a nice one. We have a team of women and youth we work with at our recycling site. And so what we do whenever we recruit employees, we train them in the different ways of how much we sort our plastic waste. Sorting is really very important, like we said, because we need to monitor the recycling processes. So we sort HD alone, PP alone, PET bottles alone, and
Yep.
different other types of plastic alone.
Wow. See, I'm a novice with all of this as far as how that works. But I do understand a lot about manufacturing. So I'm thinking about the flow, right? Operations. It's a good thing you've got your engineering background, Ronald, because you have to be able to really understand the flow and the mechanics of engineering this whole process and using, whatever technology is required. Now, the technology that you needed, did you come up with that, or was that something that was open source?
Yeah, I can say this has been around. There is a site we use to understand how they do plastic recycling. But with the limited sources, this is quite a very big and expensive project to start. But with my engineering knowledge and background, I managed to go into the machine workshop and fabricate uh, machines locally made here in Uganda that
Yep.
we use currently.
Wonderful. See, and this is what I love about everything you're doing. Everything is based on community, from the folks that you're paying to bring the plastic to you, to the folks that you're paying and employing to sort the plastic. It's just phenomenal. So let's talk a little bit more about, how the bricks come together, because, it's one thing, folks, if you've created a great technology and it's in the cloud and we get to play with it on our phone, right? It's another when you have a brick and mortar place and you've got people arriving and you've got a lot going on, Ronald, with all of this. What happens once the plastic has been melted and now you're turning it into bricks? Did you create a mold that you designed? And did you use 3D printing for this? Or did you have to use a company to actually create molds?
Like I said, all the machines we currently use are locally made, so we designed our own molds that we use after the melting of the plastic.
I love that. Okay, so we've got a few questions I want to bring in here. So, hi, Lugard. Thank you for joining us today. And he says this is a great idea that can be tried in countries like Somalia, where there are huge IDP camps with plastic waste. I have two quick questions. How do you test the compressive strength of the blocks made? That's such a good question. And how did you go about getting the blocks certified by the Ugandan authorities? He says MOPW, for instance. So he's clearly, Lugard, you are tuned in to the local politics.
Yeah. So as we are still developing our prototype, we partnered with different institutions. We partnered with PRI, which helped us in developing a prototype. That's Plastic Recycling Industries here in Uganda. And then we partnered with the Uganda Industrial Research Institute that helped us in doing the physical test parameters like the strengths.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, I said in the opening that your plastic bricks How much stronger are they than conventional?
Our bricks are 2 times stronger than the conventional bricks.
And how is it that you don't have breakage?
Yeah, like all plastics do,
Mhm.
plastics don't break. And
There we go.
that's why it's a very big challenge that they don't decompose very
Right,
fast. They
right,
takes them years. They don't break very fast. So
right.
us using plastic in our processes, it ensures us the guarantee that our bricks don't break at any moment.
Great. I know it's probably a dumb question on my part, everybody. I'm sorry, but I'm just curious about all of this. So Bernard says, that is amazing, Ronald. How do you handle secondary waste from the recycling processes?
At Ecomak, we don't have any waste, I can't say. Any bricks that don't come up into shape, we crush them and recycle them again. That's one advantage we offer as Ecomark, even the customers that buy our bricks. Whenever you use our bricks and you feel you don't want anymore, you can still resell them back to us. If you had a house constructed out of our bricks and you wanted to demolish it, why not call us and you can sell us the bricks again and we can recycle them into other new bricks that can be sold to other customers.
Yeah, so I'm thinking too, though, you have to use electricity, other forms, or gas, some kinds of forms to melt the plastic. Is there, and is it still less of use than creating bricks per se? I was just curious because of Bernard's question.
Uh, yeah, we really need to use energy when we are doing the recycling processes,
Yeah.
but we always ensure that the process is done in a very short period because plastic has a challenge when it's melting. It releases smoke and so many emissions. So for us to minimize the emissions and the gases released during the recycling process, we add in an organic material which is from bees, wax from bees, that does not change the stability of the plastic, does not change any parameters of the plastic, but it only adds in a parameter of increasing the melting speed that we use.
Yeah, no, I get it completely and I love it. And that, Richard O has a great question, which is, are the bricks 100% plastic? I'm thinking they've got some beeswax in there, Richard. What's your answer, Ronald?
Our bricks are not 100% plastic. Our bricks are made from a mixture of agricultural waste, plastic waste, and sand.
Oh, sand. Okay. How much? Okay. So, how much of sand do you have to, and how do you get that product into your manufacturing process?
During our manufacturing processes, we do 60% sand, 30% plastic, and 10% agricultural waste.
Great. Wonderful. And Peter, you've got a question: how to recycle tech equipment? That would be, that could be your next job, your next company, Ronald, right? I mean, see, it's just, you're absolutely right, Peter. So Thomas has a great question. Are you extruding the plastic into mold similar to injection molding? If so, have you optimized your mold designs for stackability? Such a good question.
Yeah, with the current design of the molds we have, we don't use injection molding.
Okay.
Yeah, so we use the press molding, whereby we have an extruder that extrudes the plastic, molten plastic, and then we have to carry up to the press that compresses it into a brick.
And then how does it get from there to stackability? I'm thinking, is it is there a conveyor belt anywhere? How does that all happen?
No, the process, the distance between the extruder and the press mold is really very small. And the process being at a very high temperature of over 200 degrees, the time spent between the transfer from the extruder to the press, which is an average of 5 seconds, is very minimal to make the plastic cool. Yeah.
I understand. That's amazing. Um, I want to take a moment here. Thomas, grid waste. Is this you? Is this your app? What does it do? So, Thomas, if this is you and your app, say something in the comments and we will celebrate you. And it says gridwaste.app. I'm curious about that. Yes, I'm the same way, Lugard. I was wondering about fire protection. All right, can these bricks be flammable? How does that work?
Like any other construction projects, even when you use the conventional bricks, when fire comes up, it destroys everything.
Yeah.
But the guarantee we give with our bricks is the recycling process undergoes a very high temperature moments because our degrees go up to 220 degrees
Okay.
centigrades during the manufacturing processes. So it's always very hard to have fires that would have so much temperatures. However, if the fires are very high, the house would also be down like any other construction,
Yeah.
yeah, projects.
Yeah. And now I want to talk a little bit about your customer segment because, everything on the Startup Life Live show is, who are your customers? How are you reaching them? Do they want what you're buying? What are you charging? We still love to get into the nitty gritty of a startup because we love hearing how you're managing the hurdles and the obstacles with your business. Who is your customer segment? Who's using the end product when you're done?
Our main customers are the construction companies that do construction projects for their own clients.
Yeah.
We also work with government institutions because they are people who have so many big projects like building schools. There's a
Mhm.
project for constructing schools in each sub county across the country, hospitals. The other customers would be individuals, any other person in the community that would want to construct a house would, yeah, come to us.
And what are you charging for all of this? How do that and what is your revenue? I'm sorry, I'm getting stuck on all of this. I've got so many thoughts in my head. Um, pricing that out, staying competitive. Is the cost of your brick less than someone who's selling a cement-based brick?
Yes, yes. Currently, it's a very big problem in Uganda with
Mhm.
the costs for cement are really increasing every day. Our bricks can be accessed or can be bought at only 400 Uganda shillings compared to a brick that would be made at around 700 Uganda shillings if it's made
Wow.
out of concrete.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's a huge savings. So you're going to be the government's, go to a source, in my opinion. What do you what do you think about that?
I'm really very excited with the feedback we get from customers
Yeah.
because they really love our product and we already have more other people would want to use our product. So the customer retention we have over 20 paying companies with a customer retention rate of around 60%. So it really excites me every day whenever I wake up and I know there are people who would want to keep using our products. It's really very, yeah,
Yeah,
very
that's what,
helpful.
that's the beauty and the joy, right, Ronald, of having, taking all this wonderful effort and thought and passion and putting it into a product and then seeing that people are wanting it and they're happy when they use it. I mean, that's just tremendous. Um, okay, so the Benjamin, I'm just going to call you Benjamin. How do you compare price of the EcoBricks? There we go. We were on the same page with that question completely. Thank you so much for that. I'm feeling that you're getting some good support from your local government in helping you with your business. Is that true or is that a misconception on my part?
We currently working out on different ways on how we can work with the government. However, we are so happy that we were helped by a few institutions to test our product,
Yeah.
which is very important. The time we finished doing our prototype, we approached different hospitals and schools, and we are able to be helped to test our product. So yeah,
Yeah.
we are so very happy.
I'm going to pull up your website Ronald, because I just think this is so amazing. So change your relationship with trash and join us and be part of the solution, not the pollution, with Ecomak Recyclers. So I just love this. What am I looking at here in this picture?
Those are charcoal briquettes.
Okay. All right. And then down here,
Those are the bricks.
those are the bricks that come out when you're done. Wow. And folks, take a look at this: environment, economy, community. You are having an impact on all of these. This is just wonderful. Folks, you can go to Ecomak, that's ECOMAK recyclers.com. Links are in the show notes on that, but I wanted to bring that up so folks could see, what you're creating. And it must be very rewarding to see, the building actually taking place with your bricks and knowing that you've tested these bricks at institutions that have credibility so that you can feel like you are behind your bricks ability to build with. Yes. How is there a guarantee or a regulation that says, big green check mark beside Ecomak?
Yeah, like any other construction material, it would need, yeah, it's very important to have credentials
Yeah.
that certify and show that the product you're doing is very much important and can be used by anyone. And this being a new product in the country, we are now working on certification with the Ghana National Bureau of Standards to
Yay.
ensure that we don't have any questions or any issues that or queries that would come around with our product.
That's wonderful. That stamp of approval will really help you a lot. Have you funded this process, Ronald? Where did you get the money? Did you get grants? Did you have investors, or have you been bootstrapping along the way? How have you funded this startup?
Yeah, starting up Ecomark, we used our own funds as a founding team.
Mhm.
And then along the way, we have received grants from different challenges we won. For example, in January this year, we won the Changemakers Seed Fund organized by Startup XS. And
Yes.
we recently received a non-equity assistance fund from ASIP Holding uh,
Congratulations.
and Startup Bootcamp Afritech. Yeah, so
That's awesome. Seriously. And folks, you have to be creative in how you bring money in, right? You've got to fill out those forms, apply to events that are going to give you funds or really awesome time saving uh, services in kind. You don't want to waste your time, but at the same time, you never know who you're going to meet at these events, and the networking and the social capital is so important. So, we were talking earlier about reaching out to folks in the government, your customer segment. What was it like to bring in that first customer? Who was it? And how did you celebrate that?
yeah, always having a first customer is a very, very, very helpful and very amazing moment. We got our first customer from a friend who was actually the first person that wanted to use our product. During the first very moment we shared our idea with him, he was very happy and never waited to see us make the bricks that we always told him about.
Oh, that's such a wonderful story. I love it. Now, given that it's not kind of, again, when you build an app for the phone, let's say, your overhead costs are there certainly, but not like what you are managing with overhead costs. With your brick and mortar business, how are you managing your burn rate, right? Everybody knows that you've got a certain amount of expenses every single month that you have to meet. How what are the costs for something like this, and where does that sit with the revenue you're getting? So I guess the bottom line question is your margins.
Yeah, we currently generate our revenues from the sale of the bricks, and we also sell plastic flakes to different recycling companies. And this is quite a very expensive project, like I said. and it would require someone to have approximately $100,000 to have advanced machinery to put everything in place, and then have a very big production capacity to ensure that you meet the needs of your customers. But personally, I always say, with the economy here in Uganda, I don't need to first wait acquire the $100,000. We can still use the small funds we have. Personally, we started with $2,500, and that was in June 2020, and
Yeah.
now everything is running very well.
Oh, that's wonderful. This is such good news. I love it. Something fierce. Hey, Thomas, thank you. So I'm going to pull up Thomas again because he shared grid waste with us, gridwaste.app, app, and now he's going to explain what it is, which is great. It's an on-demand waste platform that connects consumers of waste to collectors who collect the waste in real time using WebSockets and WebRTC technology, and it runs in the browser. Think Uber of waste. How cool is that? Bravo. And as he goes on to say, if you collect waste fast and efficiently on a daily basis without the need of compactors on wheels, i.e., garbage trucks, you have a chance to get the influx of waste under control. And you were talking about that, Ronald, right? Being able to
Yeah.
process it quickly. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Well, you two need to connect if you're not already connected on LinkedIn. Um, ROC, good to see you. What advice do you have, Ronald, for the young youth that would wish to take the same path? That's a great question, Rock.
Yeah, that's a nice question. For the youth, specifically from developing countries like Uganda, one thing is patience, passion, and motivation. We really need to be patient in what we are doing, because today you may start a business and tomorrow it may fail, but you don't need to give up. We need to always have that hope, yeah, mind of hope, knowing that everything would work out with time. And then the motivation and the passion, because it would be very nice to do something that you love and you do out of your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And yeah, that's excellent advice for anyone pursuing the founder journey is to have patience. And I'm a firm believer, you may not figure it out that first or second company, but you're going to learn more and you're going to get better and better at what you do. And especially if you've got passion burning in your heart and your mind to make the world a better place or to solve a problem for a group of people who really need that problem solved, you may take a few attempts at figuring it out, and it's okay. And it's, there's no expiration on realizing a dream. Sometimes you have to try a few times. So thank you for that, Ronald. Thomas has a great question here, which is how many bricks can you produce per hour?
Currently, we produce an average of 100 to 120 bricks per hour. Yeah, because of the machine capacity we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what's a typical order then for bricks?
Coming in.
Oh, so when someone places an order, do they tend to say, I need 10,000 bricks? Do I need 1,500 bricks? So what does a typical order size look like if someone's going to be building with them?
Yeah, a typical city bedroom house would require you to use an average of 5,000,
Okay.
5,500 bricks.
Okay. So, it's going to take you a few days to get that, unless you have two shifts happening.
Yeah, currently we do 300 bricks per day.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So you can, stock up that inventory and get it ready to sell, which is wonderful. Wonderful. So I have another question regarding on you have been at this for quite a few years as an entrepreneur. Has there been a resource, a tool, a book, anything that's really helped you along the way you think other founders would enjoy hearing about?
The talk about mentors. As a starting founder, you need always find out mentors who are in your path that you want to follow, and then they're always the best helpers. There's one very big book I love reading. It's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And
Psychology of money. Why do you like that?
yeah, this tells you about the habits of people when they have money, slow happiness, sadness, yeah, and even how best you would build wealth
Right.
around the money you have. And the other biggest resource I always say is sharing out your ideas, because every time you share out your idea with people, you get learn about what people think about it, and then you are able to build a very big brand.
That is so wonderful. What is your scaling strategy? Like, where do you hope to have Ecomac go next? And and what does that vision for being able to provide even more bricks look like?
Our vision at Ecomark is to be the leading manufacturer and supplier of green recycled products made out of waste, and that is in the whole of Africa. So
Excellent.
in this, we are looking at how best we can be able to scale, and we want to test our product now in Senegal. That is through by the help of the startup bootcamp Afritech,
Oh, that's
and
great.
so we are looking at expanding to the whole of Africa and becoming the leading manufacturer and supplier.
See, and the beauty of what you're doing at Ecomac is that, I mean, on every level, you're helping the economy, you're employing folks, you're helping the community, not just through employment, but with less waste. And then you're helping the environment, taking that waste, reusing it in a way that is so much better for the planet than producing cement bricks. So, this is just a wonderful business. I have been a huge fan of yours along the way since I met you last
Thank you.
September. And I'm just so excited to see your consistency and how you continue to implement your vision every single day and how you keep applying leadership to what you're doing, Ronald. You have a wonderful ability to reach out to folks and ask for that help, ask for support. And, and yet at the same time, you're mentoring others and you're role modeling and representing for others to see, wow, this can be done. So I'm just a huge fan. When you are feeling doubtful about yourself, because founders, it's not if, it's always when, and that could be several times a
Mhm.
day. You're feeling, oh my gosh, why did I get started? What's the matter with me? How have you shifted your mindset, Ronald? And that, something that other founders could benefit from.
Uh, the biggest thing I can say is power of hope. Like any other founder starting up a business or startup, there are always moments when you feel you want to give up. There are always moments when you feel you are up in the skies. But whenever you feel you're down and you want to give up, have the power of hope and always expect everything is going to be good in the coming days.
Yay. That's a wonderful affirmation. Good things are coming my way,
Yeah.
etc. Yeah, I love that. Um, and Richard O is sharing green recycled waste environment for a win. Yay for the environment. So, what last things do you want to share with the Startup Life Live community? How can we add win to your sales, to Ecomax sales, or open some doors? Let us know how we can help and support you with your startup.
Yeah, first of all, is a thank you for what you're doing, because this has always been one of our challenges, branding and putting out a brand in the communities and in the world.
Yeah.
So the other one we are doing is currently we are having a fundraising round of $100,000, because we have with so much waste in communities and the current capacity we have with our machines, we can't finish and we can't do enough to help. But we believe if we can have good funds and acquire a very advanced machine,
Yeah.
then we shall be able to help reduce plastic waste in the
Right.
communities.
You'll be able to produce more. So, and I know fundraising in each country, folks, is different. So, when you go to fundraise from Uganda, what are the challenges that you have in getting investors in and securing the funds that you need?
Yeah, the biggest challenge I got even when we were starting Ecomark is people want to see what you have done before
Yeah.
they invest. That's the biggest challenge we have, because always people would want to see, like, our project is still new, and yeah, so people would want to see if what you're telling them is really working.
That's right. And yeah, so now you've got traction. You have the first customer, and you've got orders, you've got the systems working. And now this money will fund your ability to scale, to get more machinery and to produce more bricks and reach more uh, customers with your product. Um, I know a lot of folks have done well here in the States with what we call our equity crowdfunding, which, but I don't know how that works outside the States. So we'll have to brainstorm. We'll have to keep thinking. And anybody who's tuning in, think of ways that folks, or any grants you know about, that can help Ronald and his team at Ecomak Recyclers reach their funding goals, because this is a tremendous opportunity to give back to the world. And what I love about the equity crowdfunding, Ronald, is that people can come in for $100 or 250 US dollars. Doesn't have to be an accredited investor. But I don't know if how that platform works when you're not LLC'd, inked, et cetera, in the US, if your entity is formed outside the US. So we'll have to look into that, or maybe somebody smarter than us will know. Thomas has one more question. Woohoo! And that is, are you able to sort compacted mixed municipal solid waste, such as landfill waste, or do you only accept semi-sorted plastic materials?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Currently, we work with two municipalities here in Uganda,
Mm-hmm.
where we help them in collecting the whole waste in the towns. And we have a team of youth and women who now sort the plastic waste, because we only accept in plastic waste, but we help still in the sorting
Great,
different
great. Now,
landfills.
and you know what you're doing for the women and the youth, hands down phenomenal, just phenomenal. I love it, something fierce. And hey, thank you, Thomas is saying, I love what you are doing, Ande. Wonderful platform, and we want more amazing people like Ronald on the show. Absolutely. And Ronald, I'm going to share right now who's coming up next on the show, and you'll probably want to tune in, because that would be a great question for our guest on Tuesday, to ask him how investments work when it's outside the country, that your country of origin. How do you reach folks outside your country to get money secured? I'd be curious, because he's a wicked smart guy, and so I want to pick his brain about that. Thank you for that lovely comment. And I love Ruth. This is our Startup Life Live community manager, the one and only phenomenal Ruth Machaba, and she's from Nairobi, Kenya. And she says, have the power of hope. Good things are coming my way. Yes. We have to have another stitch that on a pillow moment. Ronald, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so blessed to know you, and so grateful that you joined me on the show to share your remarkable vision and your remarkable startup.
Thank you so much. I'm so humbled and honored to be on the show. It's a very nice and an interesting opportunity.
Wonderful. I'm going to pop you in the green room, but don't go anywhere until after I hit end broadcast, so we can have a quick chat. I'm going to bring myself up into full picture here. I learned so much from every founder I talked with, and I learned so much from you, audience. So thank you for the great questions that you're always bringing. Oops, speaking of questions, I've got Ruth's wonderful reminder there. Have the power of hope. Good things are coming my way. And, podcast listeners, replay viewers, your presence is so important as well, because getting this information out, cheering on fellow founders, and learning from them is a wonderful thing for you, your business, and the world. And yay, Baez, I'm so happy that you've enjoyed the show today. I want to share with you who's coming up next. So you just heard me mention we're having an investor on the show on Tuesday. Here it is, Tuesday, April 19th at 12 p.m. EST. The phenomenal serial entrepreneur and very seasoned investor. Ben Jen is joining us, and he's here to help ease your fundraising journey with his insights and advice. Ben is the founder and managing director of Ben Jen Holdings, a venture capital and private equity firm dealing with companies in various tech and business fields. Ben Jen Holdings has completed investments in over 200 companies from pre-seed to Series C rounds with a proven track record of successful exits. So, folks, you have got to come join. Bring your questions and get ready to take notes because Ben is so generous with how he shares his investor advice. He works, in fact, Ronald, with a lot of youth. He'll be right there in high schools helping entrepreneurs, our young entrepreneurs. He's just amazing. And so I'm looking forward to that conversation. And I'm so glad you all tuned in to learn about this phenomenal Ugandan startup today. Our wonderful guest, Ronald Mugaiga. Oh my gosh, Ronald. Anyway, Ecomak Recyclers, that's what you need to remember. They're doing such remarkable work, and I'm excited to watch them as they glow and evolve over the next. I mean, look what they just got done in 2 years. It's amazing. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. And yay. Thank you, Richard. A great conversation. And Lugard says, great work, Ronald. I agree. And as I said before, Baz has enjoyed the show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Let's dance again, okay? And until then, stay focused, stay strong. Remember, you're smarter, as we say here in Boston. You're wicked smarter than you think. You've got this. We're cheering you on everywhere you glow. Until next time, I am just going to dance my way out of here. Bye, everyone. Mwah.